Hello, today I'm going to show you how to install Ubuntu Server on VirtualBox. As the date of this video, Ubuntu Server 14.04.2 LTS is the latest version, but I still recommend using 12.04 for its stability. Let's get started. First, open up VirtualBox. Create a new virtual machine and name it Ubuntu Server. You can name it anything that you want, but it has to have the type as Linux and the version as Ubuntu 64-bit or 32-bit based on which ISO you get. Now give it a minimum of 512 megabytes of RAM. You can go all the way up to as much as you have. For now I'm going to leave it at 512. Now create a new virtual hard drive. You can use a VirtualBox disk image for the main file type, and you should use dynamically allocated in case you run out of space using fixed size. Now give it 8 gigs for its space and then save it somewhere. Now before you turn it on, go to settings and network, and if you want to use this server online on your network, make sure it is a bridged adapter. Now you can start up your virtual machine and it will prompt you for an ISO. You can pick your ISO, you can download it off of the Ubuntu website. Just download here and just wait a couple minutes, and then you could just import it into VirtualBox. Now click start. So I speak English, so hit English, and we want to install Ubuntu Server. Now I do speak English once again, so English. My location is the United States. So no, I don't want to detect the keyboard layout because sometimes there are problems and it can mess up the server installation, so just pick it manually. Right now it's loading its components and other things to get started with the installation. Be patient with this. If you rush it, you may mess up your installation. Now give your host name a name. So I'll just call this test. Now give your system a username. I'll give it test as well. And the password will be test. Oops. Now yes, it is a weak password, but I still want to use it just for demonstration purposes. And if you want to, you can encrypt your home directory for security if this is a production server, but if it isn't, just click no. And yes, I am in Chicago, so yes, this time zone is correct. Now, based on your installation, if you have multiple drives, you can set up RAID and RAID 1, RAID 2, RAID 0, whatever RAID you want. But because this is just a normal installation, I'm just going to go with guided partitioning and use the entire disk. So finish partitioning and write changes to disk. Write changes. Now it's installing the base system. This part may take some time. I'll get back with you guys once it finishes. Alright, I am back. Now the server is asking me if I want to use an HTTP proxy, but in my country I don't need that, so I can just continue. Now it's continuing its installation, so still, once again, be patient or you might screw this up. Okay, in a couple minutes, it's gonna ask me to install some default software that comes with the operating system. Now, it's asking me for automatic updates. You can put the automatics on automatically, but if this is a production server, you don't want any downtime, do no automatic updates. Now, I'm going to be teaching you how to make this into an Apache web server after this installation. So it's going to be beneficial to access the server remotely, so use OpenSSH. To enable it, just use the spacebar. Now, if you want, you can have a Samba file server from the server itself, or you can have a more up-to-date version which will be installed later. I'll be back once this finishes installing. Alright, I'm back. Now the server is asking if I want to use the grub bootloader because this does not have any other bootloader on the disk. So if you were trying to dual boot this with like Windows, if this was like real hardware, you don't need grub, but this is a blank hard drive, so yes, you need grub or it will not boot. And grub will also let you have a restore partition in case something bad happens in the long run, so it's always a good reason to have grub. So installation is complete, just hit continue. So now it's just gonna reboot and open up to the command line. Alright, our username was test, and the password was test as well. So now once we're in the system, remember when I told you to make the network adapter bridged so we can have our server connected to our network? You can check this with ifconfig. Now you will see that there's the IP address 10.0.0.21 in our list over here. So that is a local IP address on my network. So if we SSH or use a PuTTY, we can SSH into our server. Now you can pretty much use your server on your local network from any machine that has Linux or Windows or Mac, which has a shell script. And if you want to access this outside your network, you have to do something called port forwarding, but that is not in this lesson. You can search it up elsewhere on YouTube. I'll be back with the installation of Apache. Alright, I am back. Now I'm going to teach you how to install Apache 2 onto Ubuntu server. So you can search up how to install Apache 2 Ubuntu on Google, and you'll get this page. You can just copy this and then put it into our PuTTY command line. Just enter this and then follow the prompts and then just let this install. Once it's done installing, we have our Apache web server up and running, and I'll show you where the files are at and how to edit them. So now our server is installed with Apache. Now let's check our IP address. Use ifconfig, and then our IP address is 10.0.0.0.21. Just copy that and then open up a web browser, paste it in, and go to it. Let it load up, and then you should see this page. It says it works. This is the default web page for this server. So now that you know that it's running, I'll show you where to find the files in Apache. So go to the root directory, cd into var, then www, then you have the index.html. You can edit this with sudo nano or the vi editor if you prefer, and then you will find the code in here. If you want more in depth on this, you could go install Samba server, and then that would let you use shares on your computer so you could access them from different places. So you could access it right directly from your computer file manager. So it's very useful, so you can just like go in, find the files that you need, and then edit them directly from your GUI without doing everything through the command line. So that was my tutorial on how to install Ubuntu server and Apache.